Welcome to Tectastic, where we navigate the intersection of technology and business, uncovering innovations that redefine our world.
Benjamin Bowman of StratiShield AI, welcome to It's Tectastic. It's lovely to have you here.
Awesome. Thanks, Christian. I'm excited to be on.
I really want to get into what you're doing, and we were talking in the preamble just briefly here about that positive view of technology, and we're both in technology, and why the heck would we be building this stuff if we didn't believe we could make the world better by doing so? Yeah. And you've got your own podcast, you've got your own show, and you had a guest on recently that went down deep into the darkness. And I regularly get that too. And, I think most people that are drawn towards entrepreneurship, and especially the technology side, are hyper intelligent people. We're well versed in everything going on. We try to stay informed. I know there's been studies about this, but intelligence tends to lead to pessimism because you can see all the darkness.
Yeah. And
finding your way through that has been the course of my life. I'll find myself in that depth of despair, and then I'll find an opportunity in it, and I'll bring that right back up and become optimist again. And that's where my current company started, was at that depth of despair.
Love it.
But I want to hear your journey. And I imagine there's a similar story there with StratiShield AI.
Yeah, it's interesting, even as you talk about being positive, and I think as an entrepreneur, you have to be almost blindly optimistic sometimes
you do.
about what you're doing, right? And just this strong belief of positivity. And then you get into technology, and this is another interesting thing, and I talk about this. We talk about the duality of man and the good and the evil, and technology is very similar. And let's take cell phones, for example. Cell phones are such a great technology because I can connect to people, I can get a hold of my family, I can talk, text, do all these things, hop on the internet, connect to my business. But then I'm also always connected. I'm always connected to the world. I'm never getting away. I'm always connected to the internet. And so it is a fun and interesting duality when you talk about the good and the positive. But what I do see is that I'll take the positives of technology, I'd say 99% of the time, and I'm sure there's some technologies we can do without, but 99% of the time, I'll take the positives, and the positive seems to overweigh the negative. And that just seems to be, the ebb and flow of technology. But with my business, it was interesting. I've been a technologist for over 20 years, always I've been an IT director, led an IT team for an international printing company. I got into sales for a bit because I thought I saw the salespeople were having all the fun.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, wait, I'm doing this. I want to have more fun. So I got into sales for a bit, and really, I feel like a well-rounded approach of this, being able to talk about technology, but also not having to get into the weeds like a lot of the engineers. And that really developed a passion for me of helping people understand technology. And you talk about the IQ, and I've been around some heavily IQ people in this industry that are just so smart, just talking circles around me. But I'm seeing a need for EQ, like emotional intelligence now, especially in business and especially in engineering and technology. And that's what I'm really trying to bring about. And even with my business with StratiShield AI, what I'm trying to do is I'm not trying to uncover one basic piece of AI and be just this one specialist. What I want to do is I want to help companies understand how AI actually fits into their business.
Nice.
And who can you relevantly use as an AI provider in your business that is going to make a change, create an ROI, and all the things that matter to an executive. My strong belief is that AI and humanity are better together.
Yes.
And humans are better with AI, and AI is definitely better with humanity. And you talk about programmers, you talk about workers, and you're not replacing them. What you're doing is you're getting rid of their tedious tasks, that they have to do. And I know I've programmed, and the tediousness of organization and sometimes even getting things right and breaking one thing of code. And if I can eliminate that, but I can focus on the creativity of the program. And like you said, I can focus on how does it impact the business? What are the KPIs I'm trying to accomplish? What am I trying to do for the business? And I remember when I was an IT director, I reported directly to the CEO. And he brought me in, and I ran the IT team because it was a $20 million company, right? It was a smaller company. Yeah. And he's like, I don't really care how easy your job is. I care about how easy you make everyone else's job.
That's right.
And this is my thought with AI too, right? That's the beauty of AI. AI doesn't have the emotion of my job's so difficult or whatever. I want to utilize AI to give time back to the employee. And I hope someday that we're not just talking about giving time back to the employee to work more hours and do more work.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's for self-care, self-healing, this emotional intelligence, the psychological aspect of work, that we're able to give the employee more time with their family, more time to recover, more time to think, more time to get creative, and all these positive things that we need to do. That's how we should be using AI, right?
Amen. I mean, like, seriously, the tyranny of technology that we've actually put on ourselves, that you talked about the cell phone earlier, and I've always thought of that as a digital leash.
Yeah.
I am most productive personally when I am off the technology, when I'm out in nature and I'm allowed to think clearly without all the distractions. And I think most people are. Our head of product says that he's got a magic lawnmower, he's got a riding lawnmower, and all his best ideas come when he's on his lawnmower. I'm like, then get out on the lawnmower, get off the computer, go.
Get out in nature. Absolutely. Get out there and do it. Yeah.
I think that's another thing that's interesting about AI, is because the dominant paradigm of our lives, your career, my career, has been sitting in front of those monitors, right? We're sitting at a keyboard in front of a monitor. And that's because our principal way of getting information and passing it around is through these screens in software. And then the web came out, and Google, but it was still trapped in that screen. And then we got, mobile compute. We're trapped in a new screen that we can take with us.
Right. And then social media. And we're trapped in a social screen outside of work.
That's right. But as we move towards chat and voice, I think the tyranny of that technology, that monitor, the terminal that you're sitting in front of, becomes far less important, because I don't have to type.
Yep.
I can talk. And that is going to allow us to move the office to wherever you are. And quite literally, I can be in meetings while I'm walking, which I started to do with the phone already.
Yeah.
But I still had to send people an email. I still had to, write up notes about the meeting, or I put together a PowerPoint slide so people would see it. But we're at a point now where you don't have to do any of that anymore. Every meeting I have an AI assistant that's transcribing it, that's doing a better job than I ever did, right?
Right, ever. Yeah. Yeah, and another, you got me thinking now, this automation and where we're going to go with AI and technology, and even getting more time back. But right now, AI is arguing about whether a ventriloquist puppet is really speaking, or else if it's the ventriloquist speaking through the puppet, right? That's kind of like how we are with AI right now. But eventually, when AI starts being able to make more conscious, and I don't even like decisions, because I think that's a dangerous game to play, to open up AI to conscious decisions yet, and maybe you'll get there, but conscious recommendations, and can start consciously manipulating schedules, accepting appointments, having base level tedious conversations, especially from a C-suite. I mean, imagine if you could have your AI talk to sales reps.
Oh man,
how wonderful that would be. Yeah. When we get to that point, I've seen that device. And so how is it? Does it deliver, or is it the beginning? And I can't remember the device name, but I read an article about it 2 months ago.
Yeah,
does it deliver exactly what we're talking about, right?
The Rabbit R1. Now, there are some things that I think that are absolutely amazing about this thing.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of travel in the last 20 years because of work, and going into countries where, I speak a couple languages, but I don't speak all of them. And, just getting around in an airport in China, I don't speak Mandarin.
Yeah.
That was difficult. Whereas with this, I would have no trouble at all. I just would have held it up. It would have translated it instantly for me. Same thing with the person going over the telecom in the airport saying, hey, your flight's going to be 5 minutes early, get in line.
Wow.
This would have saved me so much heartache and things like that.
Yeah.
The integrations they have aren't enough yet. They really need to get into
that's kind of what
get on my Outlook calendar, manage that for me. Get into Travelocity or Expedia or some way that I can actually book trips. Because today it's limited to Uber, DoorDash. There's only a few real integrations they have. But for those, it's pretty damn cool to be able to just say, do this, and it does it.
Yeah. Yeah. And we got to start somewhere. And you can compare that device to the BlackBerry almost, even though there's not the hype around it yet. Yeah. But remember the BlackBerry with cell phones, it finally got us using the cell phone because we could answer emails. We could do more stuff on it. Now, if you compare a cell phone to what a BlackBerry is, the BlackBerry is not even a drop in the bucket compared to what we're doing with a cell phone. But I kind of see similarities with that. We've got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And then the advancement will eventually, and other people coming in will take care of it. Do you see that same?
I do. And especially, this is a $299 device. What's my iPhone, $1,200 or something? And now the iPhone has a lot more capabilities in some sense. And if Siri became the thing it was always meant to be, then this device becomes pointless, other than the price point. But yeah, I agree. Like getting the first step there and finding out what people engage with and what we really want, right? For me, I need a personal assistant. Like we were talking about this before the show, right? I've got a producer for the show because I can't do it. I don't have the time in my day to do it. And now I need one for the video side of it. Same thing, right? But I also need somebody to manage my calendar because of the amount of pressure. And there's so many people that want the information I have or want time with me, which I need to give them, but I don't have that many hours in the day. So how do I manage that? And I'm taking time away from doing that to manage it. So having a tool that did that, like Calendly, is kind of a drop in that direction too, right? It's the first step towards that.
Yeah, just more automation would be nice. Now, what about this though? So you get Elon Musk and his Neuralink, and this language thing always is fascinating. And I would answer yes to this. I'm just saying this isn't a trick question, but if you could put a chip in your head and speak any language in the world, and have access to data. And I know that's his big picture goal. I mean, landing on Mars, there's a lot of big picture stuff, but I don't know. Do you think eventually we get to where this is like just embedded in us, or that's a slippery slope too? I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little torn on that. And it comes down to if knowledge is power, then whoever controls our access to information controls everything.
Yeah.
And if you've got some device in your head that is going through somebody else's objectives, whatever they are, that's what you're going to know. They have all the power over you.
100%.
I don't trust any individual or any corporation to have all that power.
Yeah. And I think we have enough knowledge, you and I, with our tech background in cybersecurity, to also understand that, am I really going to open up myself to be hacked?
Right.
Literally hacked.
Especially your brain, right? I mean, it's like...
Right. What would a denial of service attack do to your brain?
Oh my God. Well, hopefully it's limited to only interacting with cerebral cortex or the language center or something like that. But yeah, no.
Right. Oh my gosh. Sorry. It's just weird thought there.
Going back to the good or bad thing, one of the metaphors I always use is fire, right? I can heat my home, I can cook my food, and most people, that's what they would use fire for when fire was first discovered. But I can also burn down your village. And AI, any technology has those same trade-offs. Every technology does. Everything that we create has positives and negatives it can be used for. But the preponderance of human beings are going to use it for the positive thing.
Yeah.
We just have to protect against the nefarious actors. And they're often easy to find because they say it out loud.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. And, it's interesting that as we look at the way AI can be used, and AI has been used with us, and you could even say against us in some ways for years. And if you talk about social media and advertising, everything like that, like you said, it's been using machine learning, which is within the framework of AI for probably 5 years to a decade now, to specifically target ads to us and target the way we browse and the way we look. It's funny because you talk about, I'm overall positive because I'm one of those people that love when a good ad pops up because I've been Googling something. Like, yes, that's what I've been looking for. And I know people are like, I hate when suddenly I'm talking about something and an ad pops up for me. I love that because it's just like, hey, there it is. I don't have to go find it. But AI weaponized and used for and bad. Again, good. We talk about the good and bad and everything for years. And when we talk about AI again, I think it's important we say AI, we're not at real artificial intelligence or super AI right now. We're still working within the framework of machine learning, big data, neural networks, things like that have been around for a while.
Absolutely. Hey, Ben, I was just realizing we're actually getting short on time, and I want you to be able to plug your show because you're obviously a great guest. That tells me you're also a great host. What's your show about, and how can people find it?
Sure. So my show that I do is AI Insights, the Executive Brief. And right now that is only on YouTube, and it's StratiShield AI. I'm going to be separating it soon, but right now it's still under my business, but StratiShield AI. And what that is it is almost exactly what it is. It's an executive brief. So I interview executive suites, either VPs, CTOs, CIOs, CMOs, COOs. So anyone from an executive layer. And we talk about how AI is impacting their job, how AI is impacting the industry, their decision-making, what kind of board decisions are being made around AI. And I think it's fascinating because what this appeals to is if you're a CTO or a C-suite or executive and you're wanting to see what are my peers thinking right now, it's a great platform. if you're aspiring to be a C-suite or executive level person, well, it's a great platform because now you can see how do these people think, how do they talk, and then also if you're in sales and you're trying to get a hold of and talk to C-suites and executives about technology, it's a great platform because again, you're seeing how do they think, what are their problems, what is the real issue, how are they making these decisions. So I think so far it's been fascinating. I just filmed my 12th episode yesterday. I'm filming my 13th one in 2 hours after you and I are done. So it's still fairly new.
Yeah.
It's definitely growing and I'm excited about it.
That's fantastic, man.
Thanks for letting me talk a little about it.
Yeah. Ben, absolute pleasure having you on the show, man. Seriously, this is a great conversation. I'd like to do it again, and I'd love to get more into specifically what you guys are doing with your customers and like talk through a use case or two.
Absolutely. Christian, thank you so much for having me. And absolutely, I'll jump back on. I want you on my show as well, because I think you have great insights and the conversation was natural, it was pure, and I just absolutely loved it. Thank you.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Tectastic. I want to thank you personally for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Until then, keep exploring and stay curious. Thank you for listening. If you are new here and enjoyed the content, please subscribe. It really helps us out. And if you are a regular listener, thanks so much for your continued support.
Overwhelmed by tech debt? Discover Vala AI, the solution to tech challenges with the simplicity of a click. No engineering background? No problem. Vala AI enables anyone to effortlessly tackle tech issues, freeing up your time from tech headaches. Make tech debt vanish with Vala AI, where your tech solutions are just a click away.